Hello from the Hockenheimring. It is the all-new season of DTM 2019, and after a really wet and freezing cold day yesterday, we're excited. It's day 2 today, and the sun is shining. It's a lot warmer, and the atmosphere is amazing, and we're so excited to get the first qualifying, or rather the qualifying of day 2 started. So let's see. Here's your commentator.
Thanks very much, Verena. You're clearly standing in a different place to me. I accept that it's dry and it's sunny, but I still think it's cold as we go into the garage here of Mike Rockenfeller and Loic Duval. And there is Mike Rockenfeller inside the car. Welcome to Sunday, DTM Hockenheim, first round of the season. What a season we have in prospect. Lots of changes to the cars, new teams, new brand, new initiatives across the cars as well, and very, very exciting race we had yesterday in really rather challenging conditions, but this man made the most of them. Marco Wittmann, of course, victorious. P2 went the way of Mike Rockenfeller, who we saw just a few moments ago, and P3 to Robin Freins. So BMW Team RMG, Stefan Reinheld, the team chief, of course, and a welcome to the DTM, and we made the formal welcome yesterday to Aston Martin. Paul di Resta, one of their drivers, regrettably, luck was not on his side when it came to the race yesterday. Didn't finish the race, sadly, but Jake Dennis did, and he finished in P11. Paul di Resta and on classification, Danny Juncadella finished in P9, and Ferdinand Habsburg also didn't finish the race, so 2 out of the 4 of the Aston Martins did complete the race. And they're the number 76 car of Jake Dennis, P11 yesterday. And Jake Dennis then in the Aston Martin Vantage DTM, of course, engineered by the R Motorsport concern for Aston Martin.
With the ignition.
So good that we have team radio, and there is Jamie Green. Retains the same colours as last year, one of the few drivers to do that. Finished in P12 yesterday. 6-time race winner here at Hockenheim, as the graphic indicates. And speaking to Arno Zenzen at the beginning of the year, and he said Jamie is back. He had a tough time of it last year. This year, expecting great things from the British star that is Jamie Green. There indeed is the Mike Rockenfeller car once again. On the podium yesterday, a P2 finish, and there is Ernst Moser from Team Phoenix. We were mentioning just a few moments ago the boss of Team Rosberg, Arno Zenzen, but that is Ernst Moser from the Phoenix team. And to reinforce what I'm saying, there is the graphics to indicate. So, short, sharp qualifying session then for the drivers to set the grid for the race 2 to come, we hope, in dry conditions. There's some harmless high cloud around, but I don't think there's any threat of rain, and that should deliver a dry race for the course of the afternoon's efforts. Sheldon van der Linde, you can see there for BMW. What a fine effort he made in his first DTM race yesterday, finishing P6. Great job done by Sheldon van der Linde. Driving car number 31 then, as you can see, for the RBM team for BMW. Of course, points up for grabs in qualifying for the first 3 places.
And call for the fire up.
That is critical come the end of the year when the points tally. Points towards the championship. Who will be successful this year? Rather a beautiful shot then of some of the wildlife that surrounds the Hockenheim circuit. This really rather evocative place, which for as many years as I can remember has been the home to the opening round of the DTM and also the closing round as well. We made 2 visits here to this 4.574 kilometer circuit. It's about an hour from Frankfurt, maybe an hour and a half from Stuttgart.
30 seconds.
And it's a challenging circuit, 16 turns, 6 left, 10 of them right-handers.
Copy, I will do, but watch for the green line.
We are just 12 seconds away from the light going green and for the qualifying to get underway. So with the exception of one run, I think, in FP, this will be the first truly dry running the cars have had as they
when
are.
you go out, this is a scrap lap on the new set for the race. Pull a gap to
Cars are released then, and they make their way down the pit lane, and we can get this qualifying session underway. So great onboard shot from one of the R Motorsport Aston Martins then of Paul di Resta, and we go inside the cockpit. New for 2019 is this big firewall at the back of the driver, enhancing still further the safety that's inherent in these DTM cars. And this means that the drivers do not have a rear-view mirror anymore. They actually have a screen in the cockpit, and projected onto the screen are the images from cameras at the rear of the car, replicating almost exactly what they would see through a rear-view mirror, but rear-view mirror is non-existent inside the cockpit of the DTM cars now. You can see there, just above the yellow lever which adjusts the brake bias on the René Rast Audi Sport Team Rosberg car, there is the screen, which is shaped exactly like a rear-view mirror and gives those images immediately behind, as René Rast, then the DTM champion in 2017 and made chase for it in 2018 as well, makes his way through the parabolica and heads up towards the hairpin right now. Down through the gearbox, turns in, back on the gas once again, and head down towards turn number 7, which is taken absolutely flat. Just behind, you can see the car of Loic Duval weaving from side to side, and Jonathan Aberdeen is in that mix as well. But we stay on board with René Rast as he makes his way into the Mercedes arena now, and the Mercedes turn, and drivers standing by to come into the pit lane. As you can see, new set of boots being made available. And BMW going to be diving into the pit lane. Of course, a mandatory pit stop inside the race. In comes Bruno Spengler. Also in comes Philipp Eng. So the crews go to work on those cars. And the car is released. Or not. And already we only have 17.5 minutes of quali remaining.
good to go in.
Bruno Spengler then cautious into the pit box. And he's released. So too is Sheldon van der Linde. And the number 16 car of Timo Glock.
So Timo, you get the new set. You go for build, push, push.
Timo did an incredible job in the race yesterday, finishing P4, having been turfed around right at the start of the race. A small contact between himself and René Rast.
Wait, one car, okay, go, 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 go.
Saw Timo pirouetting around, but years and years of experience meant he kept his foot in and donutted the car and got going once again, but of course lost a huge bunch of places in so doing. There, the number 99 car of Mike Rockenfeller is released and gives it a footful.
Track is free, track is free.
Fired the car sideways, really exciting as he left the pit box. Track is free, on you go, Mike Rockenfeller.
Next car behind you is now in Saxcore.
So the team advising where Mike is relative on the track to other drivers and to other cars. And he should have a clear track ahead of him. This is Paul di Resta. So Paul di Resta back into the DTM for this year, but of course with that new manufacturer, Aston Martin, run by R Motorsport. And we run the clock on Paul di Resta to give us our first meaningful time. A 1:37.471 is what Paul delivered the last time around, but this will be the hot lap from Paul di Resta as he breaks now into turn number 2. Back on the gas once again through the sequence, which is turns 3 and 4. And we get the first sector time, which is some 2.4 seconds down on his previous time. Pietro Fittipaldi has delivered a 1:37.370. Paul di Resta making some adjustments there to the brake bias. That adjusts the percentage of braking force that's used at the front or the rear. Through the hairpin now goes Paul di Resta. And a big drag down now to turn number 7, which is taken absolutely flat as he once again makes adjustments to that brake bias. And you can hear from the engine note he doesn't lift a bit until he reaches the Mercedes turn, which is turn number 8. This is quite a technical sector, this sector 2. which contains a number of turns, including the Mercedes turn 8 and also turn 9 and turn 10. He crosses the timing line now, and he's now just a 5/1000ths down of being 5 seconds ahead of his previous best time. So this is looking like a good lap from Paul di Resta. Rounds the banked Sachs turn number 12. Heads towards the turn 13-14 sweep before the final 2 turns in the lap. Turn 15 and then turn 16, which is the Sud curve, which is where he exits now and heads towards the timing beam. He breaks that with a time of 1:31.209. 1:31.209. So Paul di Resta currently P1. Here comes Nico Müller. As you can see, he's done quicker than anyone through the first 2 sectors. So this is going to be a hot lap from Nico Müller. He has Jamie Green ahead of him. And this could compromise Nico Müller's running, although Jamie Green gets out of the way, allows Nico Müller through. But even when there's a driver ahead of you, despite them getting out of the way, it can cost you valuable 100ths and tenths, potentially just in terms of lost concentration. But there you can see the final sector was a PB. It wasn't a better than anyone. So Nico Müller then delivers a 1:32.794. More to come from Nico Müller. Robin Freins has gone quicker than anyone through Sector 1, but still at the top of the chart. It is the number 21 car of Pietro Fittipaldi, driving for the WRT customer Audi team. So very good showing early on in this qualifying session from Pietro Fittipaldi. We're on board with Marco Wittmann, yesterday's race winner. Lots of personal bests, you can tell by the green block. But the ones we want to see are the purple ones, because they are faster than anyone, and Robin Freins currently has done that through Sector 1. Jake Dennis then 2 PBs. He's the car that we follow right now, the number 76 machine of Jake Dennis, finishing in P11 yesterday. So his cumulative time ticking away then as he heads towards the timing beam. Now this is Jake Dennis then, who goes second fastest with a 1:31.031. 1:31.031 for Jake Dennis. Here comes Robin Freins. His middle sector was not where he would want it to be, but the final sector was, and he gives us a 1:30.332, taking some 3/10ths out of Pietro Fittipaldi. Marco Wittmann now is just a 10th behind, as you can see, as he goes P2 and relegates Fittipaldi to P3 and now P4 because Nico Müller has gone quickest. Right, rounding the turn here is the car, that's the second from last turn. That was the car of Sheldon van der Linde. This is the car of Bruno Spengler, which is looking quick as well. So first meaningful time from Bruno Spengler puts him P1, a 1:30.185. And Timo Glock now also quick. Loic Duval goes fastest with a 1:30.159. And Timo Glock with a 1:30.099. Who will be the first to give us a sub 1:30 time? Well, it's not going to be Joel Eriksson. He crosses the line 5th fastest. Rocky now does a 1:30.088. The one to watch potentially could be Marco Wittmann now. Quicker than anyone through Sector 2, quicker than anyone through Sector 1, PB through Sector 2. He's into the final sector now, has 2 more turns to do, has Marco Wittmann. And is this going to be the first sub 1:30 time that we will see as Robin Freins crosses the timing line? And here comes Marco Wittmann then, heading towards the beam now. And yes, he is the first that gives us that sub 1:30 time, a 1:29.734 from Marco Wittmann. Jens Marquardt to the middle of the picture there, very happy with that display thus far from Marco Wittmann. Second fastest BMW is P3 at the moment, Timo Glock. Philip Eng is 6th fastest, Jamie Green 9th fastest, those 2 cars that we saw then. And there they are once again. So Jamie Green in the Audi, as Jake Dennis's car is pushed back into the R Motorsport garage. So too the number 23 car of Danny Juncadella, race winner last year, of course, at Brands Hatch in the UK, as the DTM made its return to the UK and will be back in the UK once again this year to add to what is a fantastic calendar. From here we go off to Zolder. which is home of the very first DTM race, incidentally. Then it's Misano, Norrisring, Assen, Brands Hatch in the UK, Lausitzring, Nürburgring, and of course back here for the finale in October. Seems a long way away now. 1:29.734 then, only one time under the 1:30s, and it came from Marco Wittmann. The next quickest is the high-flying Mike Rockenfeller. P2 at the moment with a 1:30.088. So the Rockenfeller car then pushed back into the garage, and we are into the final 10 minutes of quali. So the number 28 car of Loic Duval. Loic Duval at the moment is fourth fastest, and there is Paul de Resta with all eyes on the data inside his Aston Martin. The Aston Martin Vantage DTM car, an awesome looking car, and looks good on track. So there you can see.
Already by the hairpin it was starting to come, and I did do quite a quick prep. I'd probably try and save the rear a bit more on the prep lap, to be honest.
Copy.
So Paul talking with his engineer of how he's going to approach the next lap. Paul de Resta currently down there 16th fastest, but expect more to come from the DTM star that was Paul de Resta, very much in the championship chase last year. Of course, with a different manufacturer then, back with the DTM championship in mind though, but this year with Aston Martin. Super slow-mo replay of, first of all, it was Marco Wittmann, and then some more high-flying, this time from René Rast in the number 33 car, who had a torrid time of it in the race yesterday and did not finish the race due to a transmission issue or a sensor issue with the transmission, which meant that René Rast didn't go any further in the race, which is a great shame because it looked like he'd got the pace to perhaps potentially go for the win. Now he's crawling along the pit lane here, and the engineer's running like heck to get to the car. Now, I hope that means that, or I hope it doesn't mean that there's anything, any issues with the René Rast car, but just be aware of the fact that he's not driven all the way down the pit lane, and he's being pushed now by the engineers. So we await and we see. René Rast is currently 12th fastest, so the car going to be pushed back into the garage now. And fingers crossed that...
My windscreen's full of oil, I couldn't see anything.
Copy.
Well, you can actually see from our camera vantage point inside the car just how smeary that windscreen is in terms of oil on it. So the engineers will go to work on that immediately. Now, this was his high-flying moment, as you can see. It was interesting in a roundtable media with Dieter Gas, the boss of Audi Motorsport, this morning. We were talking about the issues of developing the new 2-litre turbocharged, most powerful DTM car ever. And of course, the resonations and the vibrations are even greater in these new 2-litre engines than they were in the previous power plant, and therefore attention and preparation has had to be made to accommodate the fact that those cars vibrate significantly. And there you can see the oil that's splattered all over the René Rast windscreen, which is going to be cleared just as we speak. Now, it begs the question whether it is oil from René Rast's car or whether it was from a car in front of him. So was that seeping out from the bonnet area? You can see the engineers they're in no hurry to remove the front end of the car, or are they? Yes, they are. So whether there's some seepage from somewhere in the car, the engineer's looking at it right now. Now, of course, we saw René Rast. He had to be pushed down the pit lane. And this is where we think then the problem started to occur, and it was following this high flying over the curbs. Now, whether that just did something innocuous, like dislodged something inside the car, inside the engine, well, the engine cover is going back on again, which bodes well, it has to be said, because we are running out of time in terms of quali. We have only 5.5 minutes of running remaining at the moment. René Rast, as you can see, is, I think it's fair to say, not where we would expect him to be based on the pace of yesterday up until his car stopping, and he is at P12 at the moment. Mr. Matthias Ekstrom. It's wonderful to see you back in the DTM garage. Matthias Ekstrom then, former massive DTM star, and huge fan base for Matthias, which exists. And good to see him back. He was on trophy presentation duties yesterday. Rather suspect that Matthias may have rather been in a car. So René Rast then free to leave the garage, and hopefully whatever small issues they have been overcome and sorted now. The engineers took a look inside the engine bay, and to my knowledge didn't seem to do anything. Perhaps it was just that sheer jump over the curbs that dislodged something and caused that oil mist to spray onto the windscreen of René Rast's car. Eager spectators look on then. Fair to say there is still quite a bit of attention on the number 33 car. We try to listen in. We have team radio as well. Ooh, lock up there from Marco Wittmann. Weaving from side to side to generate some temperature into the tyres. Tyre management going to be so critical now in DTM with the new power plants. And René Rast, thankfully, is out of the garage and running down the pit lane now. It was this point during quality session yesterday that Philipp Eng got this far, and then his car stops completely and he wasn't able to take part in qualifying. Thankfully, that's not the case with René Rast, who puts his foot to the floor and the back end escapes, and René Rast is back out on track once again. Down through the gears, as you can see, down into first gear for taking turn number 2 before the left-hander, which is turn number 3. And at turn 4, which leads us on to the Parabolica, where, like all the others, he weaves from side to side to generate some temperature into the tyres. He's going to have basically this lap and one more with which to try and vault himself up the order. He's currently P12, so down through the gearbox once again into first gear for the exit of the hairpin. Loic Duval is currently 4th fastest, that time of 1:30.159. I remind you that only one driver in the 129s, and it's yesterday's race winner, Marco Wittmann, with a 1:29.734. Everyone else is in the 30s until we get to Jake Dennis, Paul di Resta, Ferdinand Habsburg and Danny Juncadella. None of whom are very far away from that target time either. So Rast then continuing to weave. Here's Loic Duval, who's done PBs in Sector 1 and Sector 2, so this could be an improvement from Loic Duval from his P4 place. Good showing from Sheldon van der Linde as well, who is PBs through Sector 1 and Sector 2. Look at Philipp Eng, though, quicker than anyone through Sector 1 in the number 25 BMW. He's currently P6. This could be an improvement from Philipp Eng, but let's watch Loic Duval close out the lap now from P4. He goes to P2 with a 1:29.915, taking nearly 2/10. Sheldon van der Linde, P3, the rookie driver, Sheldon van der Linde, doing a great job with a 1:30.060. And Philipp Eng, look, continues his quest. This is going to be one to watch. Philipp Eng then with personal bests in Sector 1 and Sector 2. As we see Joel Eriksson go through, but Philipp Eng is the one that we're keeping an eye on now, because those sector times from Sector 1 and Sector 2 look blistering. Here comes Philipp Eng now, and he goes fastest with a 1:28.972. Taking a huge lump out of Marco Wittmann's time. Look at Jens Marquardt saying, whoa, where did that come from, Philipp? Brilliant showing. Philipp, of course, frustrated from his lack of running in quali yesterday. He actually finished the race a creditable P14 in the end, but now He has set the fastest time in this quali session. Is that going to be beaten? Because no one at the moment is going purple, with the exception of one Mr. Marco Wittmann. Sheldon van der Linde then PB, Sector 1, Sector 2. So this could be an improvement from P8 for Sheldon van der Linde, the South African, as he heads to break the timing beam now. He does not improve, lost a little time in the final sector. It's a P8 for Sheldon van der Linde at the moment. So Marco Wittmann at the moment is the only driver on a lap where he's setting purple sectors. So Jonathan Aberdeen, good quali from him, a 130.122. Robin Freins has a personal best in Sector 1, but nothing special in Sector 2, and that's also the case for Marco Wittmann, as you can see. So is Marco going to wrestle the most out of the final part of the lap? Robin Freins trying to do that as he heads towards the beam now, and he does improve significantly to P3 for Robin Freins, a podium placer yesterday. And Wittmann does not trouble his previous fastest time, which gives him P2. Pietro Fittipaldi. He improves, but not enough to change his placing currently. Jamie Green stays P7. So the order we have then, Philipp Eng and Marco Wittmann as BMW lock out the front
you have to
row
take your
of
weight.
the grid.
USB stick, neutral steering wheel, take your weight.
What a lap from Philipp Eng.
Thank you very much.
The only driver in the 128, a 128.972. Hans-Jürgen Abt then on the pit wall for Abt Sports Line. What a showing from the Austrian driver Philipp Eng, 128.972. Gives him P1, P2 Marco Wittmann, P3 Robin Freins, P4 Nico Müller, then it's Bruno Spengler, Timo Glock, Jamie Green, Loic Duval, Joel Eriksson, Sheldon van der Linde, then it's Mike Rockenfeller, Jonathan Aberdeen, Pietro Fittipaldi, best of the Aston Martins, Danny Juncadea, then it's Paul de Resta. René Rast sadly was not able to improve. Ferdinand Habsburg and Jake Dennis. So a very happy Jens Marquardt to the left-hand side of the picture there as his brand's cars lock out P1 and P2 for qualifying. The front row goes the way of BMW as Philipp Eng is congratulated by Martin Tomczyk. So big thumbs up then from Philipp Eng. Where did that lap come from? Full 4/10ths quicker than Marco Wittmann. There is the car of Robin Freins, third fastest, a 129.712. In the end, the top 10 cars were all in the 29s, with the exception of the quickest, who was in the 28s, and then everyone else in the 30s. So in comes Marco Wittmann. Be disappointed not to be pole, but knows that he can do great things from P2 on the grid, bearing in mind Marco Wittmann victorious yesterday. So the quali session for DTM completed. Goes so quickly. Spoke to Marco very briefly first thing this morning. He congratulates his brand mate Philipp Eng, who has done all the hard work, and well, the lap came from somewhere. Certainly took me by surprise. Robin Freins on a mission as well. Bear in mind that Robin Freins finished on the podium yesterday, P3. And Jens Marquardt then pretty pleased with the efforts of his drivers. And not long to wait for the race to come this afternoon. So drivers down there. There's Robin Freins, smiles from him. As I say, he is, I think, brimming with confidence following his success yesterday. taking a podium place. And there is Marco Wittmann to the left of your picture. Philipp Eng on the inside, Robin Freins to the right-hand side now. And all three of them posing for the photographs. They are the 1, 2, 3 in quali. And of course, bank 3, 2, 1 points for P1, 2 and 3 as well. And those points, of course, could be very, very valuable come the end of the year. Here, confirmation of the qualifying then. Philipp Eng quickest, Marco Wittmann P2, Robin Freins P3. Then it was Nico Müller, Bruno Spengler, Timo Glock, Jamie Green, Loic Duval, Joel Eriksson, Sheldon van der Linde will go from P10 on the grid. Ahead of Mike Rockefeller, Jonathan Aberdeen, Pietro Fittipaldi, Danny Juncadella, Paul di Resta, out of place René Rast, Ferdinand Habsburg and Jake Dennis. So that's the way qualifying played out here at Hockenheim. As I say, we haven't got too long for the race. Super slow-mos of the top three then for Audi in the RS5 DTM P3, Robin Freins. P2 for yesterday's race winner who locked it up on the way to that P2 lap time, Marco Wittmann. We almost didn't see the lap coming, and he too locked his way up to huge success with a time of 1:28.972. Philipp Eng, P1. Let's hear from him now.
Wow, how amazing is that, Philipp? I mean, after yesterday, today you snatched pole, so you've got to be really, really excited.
I wanted it very badly today. I really wanted it for my guys because they worked non-stop from before yesterday until yesterday evening without any sleep, trying to fix my car. Yesterday we had a very bad race, so I'm so happy to be standing here right now.
Well, I'm glad to see you smiling. Good luck for the race later on. Back to you.
Absolutely, you could almost sense the determination from Philipp Eng to put it right, following the wrongs of the day before. Here comes the grid then for race 2. Philipp Eng and Marco Wittmann as BMW lock out the front row of the grid. Then we find Robin Freins and Nico Müller going from P3 and P4. Then it's Bruno Spengler and Timo Glock P5 and P6. Ahead of Jamie Green and Loic Duval P7 and P8. Joel Eriksson and Sheldon van der Linde are on the next row of the grid with Mike Rockefeller and Jonathan Aberdeen going from P11 and P12. Pietro Fittipaldi and Danny Juncadella will be P13 and P14. Ahead of Paul di Resta and a very out of place René Rast, P15 and P16, with Ferdinand Habsburg and Jake Dennis bringing up the rear of the grid. So the scene is set for the race to come this afternoon then. As Robin Freins poses for a photograph, he'll be pretty happy with his performance in qualifying. So too should be the rookie driver, Sheldon van der Linde. So the scene is set as we see Joel Eriksson and Paul di Resta walking down the pit lane for the race to come this afternoon. Make sure you join us for that if you will. Bye-bye for now.
Well, that certainly was a very exciting qualifying with Eng snatching pole position and Wittmann in P2. And then, we've got Audi in a P3. So I think it's going to be really exciting when the race comes on in just a bit. So you do not want to miss it. Now, here are the highlights of the qualifying. Enjoy and see you later on. Thank you. Bye-bye.